Now that our name tag is complete and ready for printing, there's a few easy ways to do this. One, if you did have a 3D printer, probably your best bet is to either export it or send it directly. Depending on student accounts, though, sending directly to a printer can get a little confusing. So I typically have my students export and then they send me their design. So on the 3D printing piece of it, you can send to these printers if you're logged in, but you kind of, as far as I know, have to log in each student's account. So that's something we really don't want to do. The one thing I do though is I do download. I say include everything in the design because I've already checked and made sure there's nothing else there besides just my name tag. And then depending on what kind of printer you have or if you're going to do laser cutting, my printer usually seems like it likes the STL files, so that's what I would download, and by clicking that it would download directly to your computer. You can drag that into your printer software, and that would take care of printing for you. If you don't have a printer and did this mostly for the purpose of showcasing student work, you could do send to, and then one of the options is you could download a picture of your design. You can further edit things in Autodesk Fusion. You can try a bunch of different places to actually post it to. So you can actually post it to Thingiverse. The kids, I think, would have to have a Thingiverse account as well, but that is a possibility for there. So again, two typical things probably are you're going to send a picture of your design, which does download it locally. There's my design right there. I could print these off. We could display them online, however I wanted to do that. Same option with the STL file. So if I go to export for 3D printing and I click my STL file, it takes a few seconds, it has to make sure everything's there, and then it does download my STL. They're usually not very big, so I found out that if these are very large in size, it's because the students have a bunch of extra things at the back. So typically that's kind of part of the problems there. Just a couple last fun things you can do. Obviously there's tons of shapes, lots of things you can build with. If the kids want to, they can build something with blocks. So these are Minecraftable. You can change the level of detail, a few other things too. It is kind of fun. And actually if you went really crazy, TinkerCAD does have a way to export your designs straight into Minecraft. I have not spent a lot of time with that, but I know it's possible. And there's also the Lego bricks design too. So obviously these are a little bit different. You'd have to build your shape, change your scale, change some kind of things around to make it work right better too. But obviously you're working with less detail when you do this. So it is possible though, and it's pretty cool how it works that stuff out. So I'm going to go back to my design so I can see my name tag. But that's pretty much it. So at this point, things can be shared, things can be printed, you can kind of explore around. Typically I would have students at this point, I would give them a few class periods, maybe even a lot of class periods to explore and see what else they can build, so now that they have an idea for this. The other option you always run into we'll discuss in the next video, but TinkerCAD does have some pretty cool features. If I click back on my designs, I'll click I call it the Rubik's Cube up at the top, and then there's an option where kids can click on the Learn up at the top corner. And when you do that, there are some more skills that they can learn, most of which you've covered already through the basics name tag here. So there's some lessons they can follow along with too. It'll teach them how to build pretty much anything on here. And then we can also click on the projects, and there's some other things that people have submitted, which is pretty awesome. There's some things that they can follow along with. Most of them have pretty well done tutorials, and you can build things from cars to whistles to houses. So if they're having very much difficulty learning how to navigate, how to build, and how to move, these are great places to start as well.